get started, I wanted to mention that the case for the Pembroke Drive has been removed from today's agenda, so if there's anyone here, you don't have to stay for that. Let's please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you please silence or turn off your cell phones, we'd appreciate it. I remind those in the audience and those watching on TV that this is the first hearing of any rezoning, text change, or special exception request brought before us today. We will first hear a reading of the staff report for the case by planning staff and ask the applicant to provide a brief overview of the request. We will then give the opportunity for anyone in the audience to speak for or against that request or to inquire about said request. The commissioners will have any needed discussion on the case. Once a motion is made and seconded by the commission, a vote will take place and a recommendation will be rendered. The case will go back to the planning department for their independent recommendation. If a favorable recommendation is given, then the case is forwarded to the city council with 2 independent recommendations. If the planning department makes a recommendation for denial, the applicant will have 10 days from receipt of the letter stating the denial to notify the clerk of council that they are requesting to be placed on the city council's agenda. The City Council of Columbus will hold a public meeting called the first reading. Said council shall consider the case, review Planning Advisory Commission and Planning Department recommendations, and hear discussion on the matter. Council will make a final decision at a second public meeting called the second reading. Our first agenda today is to approve the minutes from our previous meeting. Does any commissioners have any questions concerning the minutes? All right. Would a commissioner like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
All right, second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right. That brings us to our first case of the day and our only case. REZN 02-23-053, a request to rezone 1.46 acres of land located at 3937, 3871, 3905, 3971, 4003 Joyce Street. Current zoning is SFR1, Single Family Residential 1. Proposed zoning is RO, Residential Office. The proposed use is multifamily. AHB General Contractors is the applicant. The property is located in Council District 6, Gary Allen. Could we please hear from staff?
Oh, the black one. Thank you.
All right, REZN 02-23-0353. This case is not consistent with the comprehensive plan, planning area A. Future land use designation is single family residential. It is compatible with existing land uses. The property does not lie within a floodway and floodplain area. The developer will need an approved drainage plan prior to issuance of a site development permit. The property is served by all city services. The average annual daily trips will increase to 173, up from 40 trips if used for the proposed use. The level of service will remain at B. This site shall meet the codes and regulations of the Columbus Consolidated Government for residential usage. Typically with this type of development, there's hardly any school impact. It's usually around 6%. The site shall include a Category C buffer along all property lines bordered by the SFR1 zoning district. 3 options under Category C are: number 1, 20 feet with a certain amount of canopy trees, understory trees, and shrubs, ornamental grasses per 100 linear feet, or 10 feet with a certain amount of shrubs, ornamental grasses per 100 linear feet, and a wood fence or masonry wall, or 30 feet undisturbed natural buffer. This is not within Fort Benning's notification range. This is not a DRI. Surrounding zoning: to the north is RO, to the south is SFR1, to the east is RO, and to the west is SFR1. 20 property owners within 300 feet of the subject properties were notified of the rezoning request. The planning department received 5 calls against the rezoning and 2 calls that were inquiries. For additional information, I think that this was zoned to SFR 1 in 2017, 2018, sometime in there. And that's all I have.
All right. Does any commissioners have any questions concerning the staff report? All right, would the applicant please come forward, state your name and address for the record? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My name is Melvin.
Hey, excuse me for a second. Don't do the mic's on.
Lift it up and he'll turn it on.
Okay.
No, I can't turn it on.
Or
Say my name is Melvin Cooper. Originally, I am from Columbus, Georgia. I live in Atlanta, Georgia right now. I'm a licensed general contractor in Georgia and Alabama, commercial and residential.
Yeah, could you please give us an overview of what you plan on doing with the property?
We're trying to rezone it for multifamily, similar to some projects that we have in Atlanta. I did submit what we have done in Atlanta. It's very similar to that project, which is called Pratt Street. Very successful project. We do a lot of in-town development in Atlanta. Trying to bring that back home. I plan on moving here. I own several properties in the area. My mother lives right up the street. I built a house 15 years ago. So I'm real familiar with the area. I grew up there.
Any questions for the applicant from the commissioner? Yes, Mr. King?
How many units do you plan to place on these properties?
It's gonna be between 21 and 35, I believe. We're not exactly sure with the layouts yet.
Okay, are they like townhouses or?
They are townhomes.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
How many stories? I mean, if it's townhouses, I know it's probably a 2-story townhouse.
Some of the designs on the bottom level is the garage, 1 bedroom, then you got a second level, then you got a third level on some. Some of them is only 2 levels. So they sort of correspond with the layout of the land.
So will it only be 1-bedroom units?
No,
or-
no. They're 2 and 3 bedroom units, no
2 and-
1 bedrooms. But it's bedrooms on each level.
Okay. Will it be gated?
Excuse me?
Will it be gated?
We haven't proposed to gate it yet, no.
All right, any other questions? Did you have something? Okay, all right. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this request? All right, is anyone in the audience like to speak against this said request? Okay, sir. If you could please approach the podium, give us your name and address for the record.
Gentleman fix the mic here for me. I'm trying to walk around a little bit, so I can stand in one place and talk if you don't mind.
I don't mind as long as the mic's
All right.
on.
My name is Lamar Hemmings. I'm a 22-year resident of Maple Ridge. I'm a member of the Homeowners Association, the Homeowners Board, and I'd just like to add a few comments about this particular rezoning request, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about traffic for just a minute, if you don't mind. Where Joy Street comes off of Cooper Creek, goes into Maple Ridge, is Adelaide Drive. Adelaide Drive right now is one of the most overused streets in Maple Ridge. We have all of our normal resident traffic, which is fine, but then we have become traffic from 3 schools up on Veterans Parkway. We get traffic down through our neighborhood and out of the neighborhood for those schools. We also have in the evenings a lot of cut-through traffic from people going down Veterans Parkway and they're trying to get over to Publix. So they cut through Cooper Creek, down Joy Street, on to Adelaide, and on down through our neighborhood. They go to Publix because it's the last resort for them for food before they get to the county line. They also go to the fast food, Zaxby's, Bojangles, and the other places over there to get food because that also is the last resort for people going out that way. They then leave Publix parking lot, and then they come back to Maple Ridge, cut back through Maple Ridge, and go to Veteran Parkway again. So we get double traffic that way. Now, what your proposal, this gentleman over here, is, well, it's going to add at least, at a minimum, 48 extra vehicles coming off onto Joy Street every day. How many trips they make is undetermined, but generally 4 trips per vehicle would be normal. So that would add another 200 trips down Adelaide because they're wanting to be going to Publix as well. So if you go down 4 trips, that's somewhere around 200 more trips a day, which would be 1,400 a week. So we're talking traffic problems there. But let's stop right here for just a minute and go to right down the street from us here. We have a large apartment complex there, professionally managed complex with a lot of land on their complex. It's called Low Water. We partner with Low Water in several different things, and Low Water has a lot of amenities for their people. The amenities, swimming pool, playground, dog park. They have a paved walking path that goes around our lake, which they have access to. We also have a paved walking trail that goes through there and connects to theirs, so everybody from the apartments can walk the trail and everybody from Maple Ridge can walk the trail. Our walking trail goes from Adelaide Drive over to Turnberry, which is on the back part of our neighborhood. We also have a partnership where everybody from the neighborhoods and the apartments walk together. They push their children in strollers, walk their dogs, children play there in the park. It's a lot of fun for everybody, and we never have any problems between the apartments and our neighborhood because we all have been there for many, many years. Okay, let's go back up to the apartments that are proposed here on Joy Street. 24 apartments on less than 1.5 acres of ground. Just think about that. Now, he's talking about 35 apartments now. All right, look at the amenities that they have. If you've seen the drawing, I don't know if you have or not, there's not one thing for those people to do over there. There's no swimming pool, there's no playground, there's nothing but just apartments, and that's it. Asphalt for some parking lots. So that goes, am I not talking? Okay. That goes completely against what our city leaders want. Our city leaders don't want people to have idle time. They don't want young people to be idle. They want people to have things to do. And these people are going to come home and sit or do whatever they do in the parking lot. I really don't know, but overall, it's not a good situation. What kind of quality of life is that for people to come, go home, go to an apartment, get up the next morning and leave? They're not going to want to do that. Idle time, according to our city leaders, is when you start having crime, you start having mischief, people getting into different things. We also noticed there was a drawing of this, and we noticed that there was not quite enough parking there on this drawing from the builder. If you have 48 cars, there were like 24 parking places. So where are they going to park these other cars? Where are they going to put them? Where are they going to put the cars for their kinfolks, their people that come over there to visit them? Where are they going to park them? They're going to park them on the street, Joy Street, small street, short street. There's not going to be enough room there to do that. They're going to have to park them on both sides of the road. Then you're not going to be able to get a fire truck through there, an ambulance through there, school bus, and you're gonna make your traffic into a one-lane traffic coming this way and going this way, plus the people coming out of the apartments onto Joy Street. It's a traffic nightmare. I mean, it is a complete, it's not been well thought out. Then you go to the apartments. What kind of apartments are we gonna build? Are we gonna build apartments with siding that are gonna look like they've been there 30 years when they've been there 3 years? What kind of craftsmanship? What kind of workmanship? There's all kind of different questions that haven't been answered. There's too many questions here and too many points that are negative for this. So we in Maple Ridge, we'll work with anybody on anything. Councilman Allen has agreed after this vote, if we have to get together with the builder and try to work out something. They have another plan. They have a residential plan. They just hadn't shown it to you. We've seen it. But they didn't bring that to, they brought this. But this gentleman lives in Atlanta. My feeling is, I'm a naturally suspicious person anyway, that they're gonna build these apartments, they're gonna put them up, and then they're gonna get out of here. They're gonna leave us and everybody around that neighborhood with what other problems that we have left. We don't want that, folks. Everybody's happy. We have 580 residents in our neighborhood. We don't want something that's gonna go up there that's gonna devalue our property values. We don't want something that's gonna be an eyesore. This is one of the gateways into our community. And our community is very proud of their entrances. And when you go by this every day, coming in or coming out, I don't think it's gonna be real pretty. So I'm gonna ask you folks, if you don't mind, to think about it. This is kind of an unprecedented thing. I don't ever remember any apartments being set down in between two established neighborhoods. 24 apartments on less than an acre and a half. And he's talking about 35 apartments. That is unheard of. We would like to see this denied, if you don't mind. We see too many negatives, and we can't come up with any positives for this, especially the parking on both sides of the road, the traffic, the nothing for people to do. We just want to be able to have the nice neighborhood that we've always had. We want to be able not to have to look at something that's not becoming to that area. And apartments don't fit in that area. Like I said, they have a plan, a residential plan, and we would like to set up some meetings with them and see if we can't come up with something. Councilman Allen has agreed to help come up with something that would be beneficial to all the parties concerned. The Cooper Creek people are just in the same situation that we are. So I would ask you please today to deny this, and then let us get together and work with this gentleman over here and see what we could come up with that would be agreeable to everybody. Thank you for
Thank you.
thank you for listening to me, and thank you for your consideration. I appreciate it.
Yes, I think we have a question for you, sir.
Okay.
Yes, Ms. Thomas.
Yes,
How you-
ma'am?
How you doing? Okay, from my understanding, you said you have not seen his work. I heard him say he have done other buildings. He built his mom's house, so you all haven't had the option
No,
of seeing.
ma'am, I've not seen anything that they have done. I'm not saying that he's not a good builder. I'm just saying that generally when you have a situation like this, and I've seen a lot of apartments in Columbus. I worked with Georgia Power for 45 years, and I went to just about every apartment there ever was. But you generally have some siding apartments that are thrown up, and they look terrible. They need to be painted every other year, and they just don't last. And so I'm not sure if these people are planning on building brick apartments or building siding apartments. That's what I'm saying. There's too many unanswered questions here that we don't know anything about. The only thing I've seen is a drawing of what these apartments are supposed to look like, And I know that there's not enough parking area for that in the first place, and there's nothing for the people to do over there.
Sir, you can do it in just a minute. Let him get through with that, and then we'll let you, address your concern.
Is there anybody?
any other
else?
questions for
I'll be
this
glad to
gentleman?
Answer anything that I can, if I'm
Yes,
able
Mr.
to
King.
do it. Thank you, ma'am, for the question.
Okay, so there's been no meetings between you and the developer.
We have tried for a couple of years to get in touch with these folks, and we have had our property manager call many different times. In fact, just about a month and a half ago, our property manager called, and he said he finally got in touch with a secretary, and he left a message for him, but he's not gotten a call back yet. So we've had the residential drawing for 2 to 3 years, but we have not had any communication with them because we have not been able to get anybody to call us back.
I would think that the builder should have had a conversation before this meeting today, because we're either gonna turn it down or we're gonna table it. So, I mean, I don't know the consensus of the others, but, it just seems like there should have been a meeting prior to this meeting.
Right, we've tried.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak against this request? Yes, sir. Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Hank Holcomb, 4825 Champions Way in Columbus. We don't live anywhere near here, but we ride our tandem bicycle through this area, and my concern is the road network through there is terrible. It's torn up all the time because of the traffic issues. There's not much right-of-way out there, and adding more traffic is just going to cause more problems unless the city is willing to spend a fair amount of money to continue to develop the roadway through this area. So I think that has to be thrown into the mix for consideration is, are we willing to spend the money, or are we going to have the road out there? And, like I say, we ride our bicycle through there 3-4 times a week, and just that intersection where Cooper Creek and Joy Street come together is always getting torn up and is always getting patched, was not done correctly. And my concern is, if we were to do this, then, is somebody going to make sure there's enough money set aside to make sure that that road network is satisfactory to handle the additional traffic? I mean, it's not good right now, and it's just going to get worse.
Yes, sir. We only concerned about the rezoning, the street and the roads that to be dealt with the street department. But does anyone have any questions for this gentleman? All right, sir, I appreciate it. Yes, sir, would like to speak against this? Please, sir. Please come at the podium, state your name and address.
This one? Good morning, sir. My name is Clark Linder. I live at 1016 Bent Pine Court. I think I'm one of the more recent folks to move into Maple Ridge. I retired after 28 years in the military and moved here. And I chose to live in Maple Ridge because it was an investment. After moving 18 times in the Army, I finally found somewhere that I wanted to stay. I chose specifically Maple Ridge over comparative communities over in Phoenix City and other places because I felt that it was a secure investment. Secure because of the zoning that protected that investment. And so when you start to look at the average price of homes and what most people are doing is to purchase a home where their investment is protected, when you start to talk about something that is going to, an action that is going to add between 4 and 7 dwellings per lot size that we have purchased, naturally that is going to bring down the level of investment in that community. I think probably of all the folks here, I am the closest to where this proposed action will actually go in. The court that I live on is the first court as you come in to Maple Ridge community. I drive this road every single day. what my predecessors have spoken about here in terms of the traffic, it is exceptional. The traffic coming as it cuts through off of Veterans, Cooper Creek to Joyce, and then on to Adelaide is considerable. And so if you add what we had previously known as 24 dwellings there, now up to 35, that's a significant amount of increase in the volume. And as Lamar said, there isn't anything in the proposed plan that we have seen that indicates parking that is sufficient for those, which means on a very narrow road, as it turns there, it's going to be a challenge. And so I would ask the commission here to consider that when people are purchasing and moving into different parts of the community, one of the reasons why we chose to live where we did is because we felt that that was safety in the investment of our hard-earned money. So the council has the opportunity to protect that investment or to turn a blind eye and say, nope, this is not the way it's going to be. That's what's concerning to me. And I think I can speak for many of the folks here. I mean, we just had 100+ people at our annual meeting because this community believes in maintaining the standards of the community so that we do protect that investment. That's all I have.
Yes,
If you have
anybody
any
have any
questions?
questions? All right, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, would you like to come back up to the podium and?
On the first thing, I do remember that phone call coming in. Diane Fudge did address that. Whoever called, she told them exactly, she answered all the questions. So I do know that's not true as far as she never called back or those questions wasn't asked. The next thing is on the number of units, I was told it would be between 21 or 25 up to that number. So it may be 21, it may not be 35, so that's not true. So I had to, while I was sitting back there, I texted and asked them. They did give us a range of the number of units. Number 3, we never said we was doing apartments. We're doing townhomes that will be sold, and the minimum price point is about $500,000. So we won't be devaluing your property. So it's a lot of things that you all don't quite understand. We do meet the parking criteria. So maybe we need to get together, but we know we meet all the criteria. This is something that I just hadn't started doing overnight. I've been doing this for 35 years. And again, I'm from Columbus. Before any of y'all moved there, guess what? We lived on Cooper Creek Road. I built my mother's house on Cooper Creek Road, 1 block away from there. All my relatives live on Cooper Creek Road at the bottom. So it's a lot of people want to see what I'm doing. They're not against it. They didn't come today, but if we have to get them here, we got a lot of people want what I'm gonna do. I own the property across the street from there. I'm gonna build my personal house there. So maybe we need to sit down and try to work this out. So it is not apartments, townhomes.
All right, sir, we have a question for you. Yes, Ms. Thomas?
How are you doing, sir?
Fine.
Okay, you never had no pictures of your work to show the type of townhouses you were talking about building? You only did a drawing and not, you know how most people would do, they'll go and take pictures of their work. Mm-hmm. Your work speaks for you. So you never brought that to this committee?
No one ever asked. So if no one asked for it, then we haven't, we hadn't got a call from anyone asking what is it gonna look like. But we do have it on the application. It shows the actual floor plans of what we plan on building.
Okay, the floor plans plus the outside, you know what I'm saying? Like he was saying,
It shows the outside also. shows the streetscape, it shows everything, because I did look over it.
And the material that you're using,
It's gonna be all brick. We're not using siding. We don't do low-income house. I gave them my website, ahbgeneralcontractor.com.
you know, in a lot of cases, the more you present yourself, you're selling yourself to the people. And eyesight of what you're doing is, you know, I mean, I've seen diagrams, but to see an actual building, have you built apartments, townhouses before?
Yes,
Okay, so see, that would have been a good thing to bring to them your work.
but they didn't ask.
Okay, but it's not for them, you're selling you.
But
You understand what I'm trying to say?
and we talked about it over the phone, no one asked to see anything. So I'm assuming that when I got here, you know, the question would be asked, so, you know, the zoning is supposedly the zoning was the right zoning. I talked with the survey company, so any question that they have, you know, I'm here to answer. If they want to go to my website, they can see what we have done. So you know, I don't know what this say, you know, they just gotta ask and just tell me what they want to see.
I
And
mean-
we will provide it for them.
I understand what you're saying, you didn't even bring it for us to look. I mean, that would have helped
What-
us, you know,
what-
to show
what's my
your
understanding
work.
that you all got a package for what was submitted to the survey company that showed the exterior and the floor plan.
No, I mean, your previous work, the work you have done speaks for you. And that would have given us an insight on your work.
Okay, so,
You understand what I'm saying? You know,
Okay.
you got to sell yourself all the way to the letter. You can't assume that no one is gonna assume what is, you know, you understand what I'm saying?
okay, well, I just wasn't aware, like I said, when they called, those questions was answered, and I haven't heard from anyone else.
Okay, sir, thank you so much.
Okay. Is there any other question you all have? Any concerns?
Yes, any other questions from commissioners for this gentleman? No, sir. All right.
No? Okay.
Yes, Mr. King.
Well, I mean, there's two things we can do. We can either vote to accept or deny this case, and we can table it and give you some time to meet with these folks and give them a level of comfort.
Okay.
And so it's your choice. If you want to table it, we can make a motion to table this case.
Yeah, I mean, I would be more than willing to meet with them, just showing what we're doing, they can see in detail.
I mean, we're not trying to stop you, but they don't understand what you're doing, so I kind of understand their concerns.
Okay. I'll be more than happy to meet with them.
All right. So I guess I'm making a motion to table this case, and do we put a time frame on it, or? Well, we just table it, and whenever you're ready to come back, then you can come back and just. let
Yeah,
me know.
usually it's good to say like within 6 months,
Within 6 months, how about that?
but it can be any time before then.
It can be before, okay,
Yeah, I mean, give you a 6-month
Okay.
window, okay?
all right.
So I make a motion, we table this case with a 6-month window.
All right, all those in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
thank
going to table it. All right. Is there any other talk among commissioners about anything today? All right. Yeah.
I don't know. That's his job.
Would the commissioner might like to
Do
make?
we have any cases for next? We have 2 for the next case before we adjourn. We do want to introduce our new principal planner / zoning administrator. That is Morgan Shepherd. She is joining us. She is joining us from the, formerly of the Auburn Planning Department, so that's a step in the right direction, I think.
Well, welcome.
Glad to have you.
And that's all we've got.
All right. Would the commissioner like to make a motion to adjourn? All right, a second. All right, all those in favor, raise your right hand. We're adjourned. Thank you.